Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Markus Olind Loves Porn and Capitalism. I'm still here in Oklahoma. Just had a week down in Dallas, the great American city of Dallas. What a great city. What an American classic. Went to a cowboy shop where they sold fake guns and cowboy boots. It's pretty cool. I also deleted my TikTok this week because I'm a patriot. That's what I do. I do patriotic things like go to Dallas and delete my fucking TikTok. And it turns out, so last week, I think it was last week, Oracle announced that they were going to buy TikTok. And then this week, I see an article that says TikTok will be banned from U.S. app stores starting on Sunday. So it says President Donald Trump banned U.S. app stores from carrying TikTok and WeChat in an escalation with U.S. tech war, of the U.S. tech war with China. Existing users can still use the app, but the experience will degrade with software updates. There it is. Planned obsolescence, the classic maneuver any big company would use to get you to buy more shit. But I'm not falling for it, TikTok. You know why? Because I don't fucking have it. Because my videos didn't do shit on TikTok. I put up like 4 TikTok videos maybe. They didn't get any traction. Nobody cared. You know what it is? I think I had one video get pulled off TikTok because it was me just smoking weed in a garage. And TikTok said that wasn't appropriate. So I was like, whatever, TikTok. But yeah, so TikTok, the reason I don't think I went viral on TikTok, not because I'm not talented. I have an incredible amount of talent. We know this. You know this. It's because my videos had opinions and drug use, okay? The shit that goes viral on TikTok, and I've been watching TikTok commercials, I've been watching this shit. The shit that goes viral on TikTok is grandmas dancing, okay? Men dressing like women and doing the psh psh. And now, hey, now I'm a chick. Now I'm a dude, chick. Dude, chick. That's the shit that goes viral. Stand-up comedy, if it's woke, apparently will go viral. I don't know. Maybe my shit just didn't have the right hashtags. I'm not trying to act like TikTok was screwing me directly, but Instagram is, and I know that shit. I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned on Instagram. What are you going to do? Long story short, TikTok is going to be banned from the U.S. after Oracle bought it, dude. If I was Oracle, I'd be pissed right now. I'd be like, Donald, come on. We bought it and then you ban it? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, Donald? But I think, honestly, I think Donald Trump knows what he's doing here. Now, I'm not the biggest Trump fan. I wouldn't even say that I am a Trump fan. But I am a fan of some of the things he does. Okay? Like the haircut. Big fan. Great haircut. I'm jealous. Look at that. And this, I'm a fan of this move too. Because here's the thing. I think we have too many social media apps. We don't need another one. Okay? Vine is still out there. You could probably still even get a MySpace. What the fuck do we need this for? Okay? Just so random kids with 6-packs can go viral doing dances that nobody really knows how to do. I don't think we need that in this country. Not in an election year. Okay? If Russia hacked Facebook and TikTok's hacking China, who really knows who's getting elected, man? We don't even know. Who's the real president? We don't fucking know, dude. It's hard to say, dude. But the Donald banned it, dude. He just said, you know what? You can't have it. No more TikTok in the stores. And I think that's probably the best way to do it. Because it's like you can't make everyone delete it off your phone. But you can make sure nobody installs it new. And eventually the app's going to fall apart if you don't get the updates, right? We all know this. So my Tinder doesn't work anymore. Because I got an iPhone 5 and I'm in a relationship. But mostly the iPhone 5. And that's the other thing. I got to say real quick. Fuck T-Mobile. They're making me have to upgrade my phone. I'm going to have to get a new phone. I can't keep using my iPhone 5 because it doesn't have 5G capabilities. You know what? Fuck you, T-Mobile. Okay? I can't afford a new phone. But you're going to make me get one, so I'm going to have to get one. It is what it is. There's another thing. Speaking of the Donald and the actions that the Donald takes, he signed an executive order to establish a quote-unquote national commission to promote patriotic education. Unquote. I already said unquote. It says U.S. President Donald Trump made the announcement about what he has dubbed the 1776 Commission at the first White House Conference on American History. The first White House Conference on American History. What the fuck? He said the commission will be aimed at establishing patriotic and pro-America education that will celebrate American history. In his remarks, Trump criticized the 1619 Project, a New York Times project that explores slavery's legacy. So there you go. It's fucking Donald Trump being like, you know, I don't like the 1619 Project. I went to 1776 Commission. So he called it the 1776 Commission. And I think basically what it's going to tell kids is that they're the shit because you're American. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to learn. You just have to know that you were the shit because you're American. God damn it. So I'm excited about that, man. You know, and I know there's been a lot of criticisms of the 1619 Project, especially from people on the right, because they're like, you're basically saying the whole point of America was slavery. And I don't know what the point of America was, or is, or ever will be, but I don't know. I think it is good to have a little bit of historical education on the history of slavery. And I think it's also good to have a historical understanding of what the benefits are of the United States of America as a country. And I do think that's what he's probably trying to do. The problem is, how is it going to be implemented? Because it's probably going to be implemented with some bullshit in there, right? Like, it's going to tell you that the best president ever was Donald Trump. It's going to tell you that the worst president ever is Barack Obama. And I'm just guessing that's how it's going to play out, okay? And I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with that. You know, I'm not taking a stand. I don't really give a shit. But I do think it's funny that he's trying to get into education, because for so long he was like, you can't tell our kids what to learn. And now he's like, I'm going to make our kids learn this shit. I remember being in school, dude. We talked about slavery and we talked about America. And honestly, I don't remember any of it. I don't remember geometry, the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, can we teach kids math? How about that? Can we teach kids fucking math? We spend all this time, well, how much should we focus on slavery? Well, how much should we focus on freedom? Can we focus on fucking math? Like algebra and calculus for like maybe a little bit more? Maybe we don't need any history. Maybe we should learn zero history. Left history, right history, slavery history, U.S. history, none of the history. No more history, only math and science, all right? This is the only way that we're going to catch up with China, all right? They're inventing TikTok. They're going viral. They're having music festivals in Wuhan. And what are we doing? We're bickering about history. What about the future? I want a class called Future. All you learn is math, science, and fucking how to go viral with the dances, baby. That's what we need in this country. Okay, we need a class. We don't need a class called history. We need a class called hashtags. Because this is the class that will get you to fucking have enough money to pay for your family. Okay, the only way to make money anymore is to have the right hashtags. Even if you have a business that actually does shit, you still need the right hashtags to market that shit, right? So, I don't think that's what Trump was going for. But that's what I'm going for. I think we need a class called hashtags. It's going to be amazing, dude. Class called hashtags? Imagine that class, dude. You'd learn the history of hashtags. You'd be like, hashtags were invented by Twitter. And I think the initial point of hashtags was to show how cool you were for using hashtags. Now, hashtags actually connect to an algorithm. That's what we need to teach kids about, the algorithm. The all-holy algorithm. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is all you need to know. If you know the algorithm, you don't need to know who's running for president. You know how the algorithm works. You can literally influence who is going to be the president if you know the fucking algorithm. And as someone who doesn't know the algorithm, I would like to know the algorithm. Okay? I know about the 1619 Project and the 1776 fucking whatever the fuck it is. I know about the American Revolution. I know about slavery. I know about the Pythagorean theorem, but I don't know shit about the algorithm. I know the Pythagorean theorem, but not the algorithm, okay? And that's where I think our education is failing us. I think China's teaching their kids the algorithm, okay? That's the secret. Fuck Oprah. I don't need her secret, unless she has the secret on the algorithm, which I don't think she does. She just has billions of dollars so she can promote her posts. But the algorithm, people, we need to know the algorithm. How do we figure out what the algorithm is? Okay, we need to teach our children how to manipulate the algorithm so that they too can be famous. Okay, because fame equals success in this country. Fame equals happiness in this country. Fame equals power in this country, in this world that we live in the digital age. Teach kids the algorithm. Stop teaching them to the test of the SAT and the ACT and teach them the fucking algorithm. Okay, I'm serious about this, by the way. I'm serious. We should be teaching kids how to monetize YouTube. We should be teaching kids how to tweet properly. Because here's the thing. Twitter, I think, is where you get to freely express your thoughts and ideas. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you need specific posts. This is more math-based. You need to have specific things in your post for it to be visible even, okay? And these are the things that I think we need to be teaching in schools, in America, in homes in America. We need to have this on the nightly news today in algorithm updates. Which hashtag is hot? Okay, I don't care about killings in the streets. I care about algorithms and hashtags, people. This is what's important. This is what makes the world turn today, okay? I think we talked enough about Trump. I think we should give another 10 minutes to his opponent, right? Fair democracy, Joe Biden. So Joe Biden, I guess they've had in the last week, they've had a couple of these town halls. They had one with Trump. Now they've had one with Biden. And CNN held the one with Biden. And he says, so they asked him about fracking. They're like, you know, we know you've talked about green energy, Green New Deal, yada, yada, yada. What do you think about fracking? Joe Biden says fracking has to continue because we need a transition. When he was challenged about his position on the CNN town hall. So here's what it says. At the CNN town hall in Pennsylvania, big state, his home state, or no, he's from Delaware. I don't fucking know, but he's got Pennsylvania connections, big state. If he can win it, he might be able to beat Trump. Okay, at the CNN town hall in Pennsylvania, host Anderson Cooper challenged Joe Biden by asking if taking action on the climate crisis but not banning fracking is having it both ways. The Democratic presidential nominee said fracking has to continue because we need a transition. Biden added that although he aims to reach net zero emissions by 2050, there is, quote unquote, no rationale to eliminate fracking right now. While he does support a ban on fracking, Biden does not want to stop the federal government issuing new drilling permits on public land. So that didn't make any sense. He does not support a ban on fracking. Okay, that's what it is. He doesn't support the ban on fracking. And I'll be honest, I saw a little clip of this when Anderson Cooper was asking about this, and he looked so freaking out of it, dude. And I don't think he's that far ahead of Trump on the dementia end of it. I think Trump is losing it a little bit too, okay? I think he's losing it a little bit too, but Biden is way more lost, okay? You look at his face and you're like, dude, what? What is he looking at? He's squinting all the time, okay? Why? What are you squinting for? What are you squinting for, Joe? What are you squinting at? Are you trying to read the teleprompter? Are you trying to tell me something? Blink twice if you're trapped, Joe Biden. Blink twice if you're trapped. I think he's trapped. But you just watch the video, and Anderson Cooper is asking him these questions, and Joe Biden is just like looking around like somebody, like line. He's literally standing there like someone in a play at a community theater, and they needed an old guy, so they're like, hey, my Uncle Joe can do it. He comes in and he's like, line. I don't know any of the lines. I used to be an actor. Now I'm fucking old and demented. But he might win. I saw a map actually that said he was going to win 289. Let me see if I can find it here. He was going to win 289 to something. Where was it? Let me see if I can find it here real quick. It was interesting because I looked at it and I was like, it said he was going to win Michigan. It said he was going to win Pennsylvania. Said he was going to win Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois. It said he was going to lose, I believe, Florida and Ohio, though. And for me personally, it's like, if you lose Florida and Ohio, are you going to win? Like, I thought Ohio was the state. That's the funny thing to me. I remember, like, my whole life, you'd watch people on the news talk about how Ohio was the most important state, which, fuck Ohio, but I get booked there every now and then. I go there and do some comedy every now and then. But they always talk about how you got to win Ohio if you want to win the presidency. And now I'm starting to see so many maps where it's like, well, Trump's going to win Ohio, but he's still going to lose the election. And I'm like, what happened? What happened to that that sentiment that so many people held? I can't find this fucking thing, by the way. I just cannot find it. It's gone. It's gone in the ether of Twitter. But that's okay. That happens. What is the deal with Ohio? Does it matter or doesn't it matter? Because I haven't seen a map recently that says Joe Biden's going to win Ohio, but there are plenty that say he's going to win Michigan, he's going to win Pennsylvania, and Minnesota and Wisconsin, which I think he's going to win Minnesota probably. Wisconsin. See, here's the interesting thing. There's historical evidence that people have told me about. I have never looked at it, but I believe them. It basically says as riots go up, people tend to vote conservative. And it kind of makes sense if you think about it. People get protective. People get a little less compassionate when shit's on fire. And if you look at two of the places that have had big time riots, it's Minneapolis and Kenosha, Wisconsin. And those are two pretty important states. I believe in 2016, Trump won Wisconsin, and I think Hillary won Minnesota. I'm gonna look at it here real quick. Yeah, so that's what happened. So in 2016, Hillary won Minnesota, Trump won Wisconsin. So basically, I think what that's gonna mean is that if Trump, whoever can swing one of those states, I think is gonna have a big chance at winning. If it plays out the exact same way, Minnesota goes blue, Wisconsin red, it'll come down to some of the other states, obviously, but I think both of those are kind of in play right now because I think both of those have really high feelings of like, okay, there's been some police brutality here. Maybe we should vote Joe Biden. Then there's also the side of like, well, there's been a lot of shit on fire here. Maybe we should vote Trump. So I think both of those states right now have really turned into swing states because of the fact that there's a lot of shit going down there. Okay. And if the looting that happened in Minneapolis trumps, not to use that word, but trumps the feelings the feelings of sentiment about police brutality in Minneapolis, if that trumps it, I think Trump could pick up Minnesota. And if he picks up Minnesota, that's like it's 10 votes, I believe. This is a really fuzzy map. Why am I looking at this one? Here we go. It's 10 votes. So each one of those is 10 votes, or at least they were in 2016. I think it's still the same. Each one of those is 10 electoral votes. So I think there's 20 on the table right above Illinois, because Illinois is 20, and Illinois tends to go blue. It almost always goes. I don't know the last time. I think maybe Reagan was the last Republican to win Illinois. But basically what I'm saying is those are 20 electoral votes that are going blue. If they split those 10 from Minnesota and Wisconsin, I think the advantage might be to Biden, but it would be a huge swing if Trump can pick up the 10 from Minnesota. And likewise, it would be a huge swing for Biden if he can pick up Wisconsin. So those are two really interesting states that I would look at. Obviously, my home state of Michigan has 16 votes. It's pretty important as well. And that was the closest race in 2016, too. That was like the closest one. That was the last one to get called, mostly because we're a very disorganized and fucked up state. So yeah, we didn't have our shit together on election night, and we won't this year either. But that's 16 electoral votes that were really tight. Like if you take those 16 away from Trump, he had 306 in 2016. You take those 16 away, swing him over to Clinton. All of a sudden, Clinton goes from 232 to 248, and Trump goes down from 306 to 290. Okay, and at that point, right, Ohio is the difference, because what do you need 270 to win, right? And Ohio plus or minus a couple votes here and there would be the difference right then, right? But again, I think Trump has a better chance of picking up Minnesota than Biden has of picking up Wisconsin. And again, that's just because of the fact that people talk about how when writing goes up, people tend to vote conservative, and it's like those two places have had a lot of it in the past 6 months. Now, another interesting one people have been talking about is Arizona. Okay, people talk about Arizona like, Arizona went red and went for Trump last time, and this time people are saying, okay, I think Biden can pick up Arizona, which he maybe could. I don't know. But there's, I was down in Texas last week. That's what I was saying. Texas obviously almost always goes Republican. I did not get the sense in Texas that Biden's going to be able to pull that one off. I'm going to be honest with you on that. 38 electoral votes on the table, second most of any state. I didn't see any Biden signs. Dude, when we were driving down there, I think last week Saturday, we're doing a show down in Forney, Texas. Last week Saturday, it was a great show. Shout out George Red Speaks. Dude, fucking awesome guy. Runs some great shows down in Texas, in the Dallas area. And he hooked it up this week. Fucking love George Red. But my point is, as we were driving down there, me and my friend Aaron White, both comics, were driving down there. On the freeway, on 35 South, there's this huge thing called the Trump store in Texas. It's called the Donald Trump store. We didn't go into it because we were kind of, we had to make up some time. We were running a little late, so we didn't really have time to go into the Donald's shop. But it was basically a huge freaking store dedicated to Donald Trump. And I was like, he has fans. Donald Trump has fans. I don't think Joe Biden really has fans. Like, he has people who are going to vote for him, and he might even win the popular vote like Hillary did. I don't know if he's going to win electoral. He could. It's possible, right? He's on the ballot. But, like, Donald Trump has straight up fans. That's a whole different thing. Donald Trump is to politics what Andrew Schultz is to comedy, all right? He took it to the internet. He made it viral, okay? He goes viral all the time, okay? And it's not always for great reasons. Sometimes it's because he says dumb shit. Joe Biden does that too and goes viral for it. But, like, Donald Trump is like the internet politician. He's up there just fucking riffing, just saying shit, just seeing what sticks. He treats most press conferences like an open mic. He goes up there, no material. He has a couple bits that he's like, all right, I got to work on these bits. But then he just starts fucking firing from the hip, dude. He doesn't care. He does crowd work. He roasts. He's the only fucking president, I think, in history who literally would roast reporters. Like, it's a Comedy Central roast. And by the way, he had a Comedy Central roast. Like, again, he's a whole different breed. He's not even a politician. He's just a dude who's insane on different levels. And I think it's funny. I laugh at him, okay? I laugh my ass off when I watch him fire from the hip. But he does have fans. And driving down to Dallas made me realize, dude, this guy has a store. Some guy made a store. It's not like it was part of the Donald Trump campaign. It wasn't paid for by the Trump campaign. It wasn't paid for by a PAC. It wasn't paid for by the RNC or any of that. This is just a dude in Texas who loves Trump so much that he bought fucking real estate, or rented it, leased it. I don't know what he did, but he set up a literal business dedicated to Donald Trump where he sells merch for the man. It's insane. And the reason he did that is because he knows he's not the only one who loves Trump that much. Okay? And I'm sure he sells hella shit there. People go down to Texas. People who live in Texas. Fucking all these people probably just like stop in and are like, dude, look at all this Trump shit. He probably has bedazzled American flags and shit. I don't know. Again, I didn't go in there. But I'm just imagining, okay? So, yeah, long story short, Texas is going to go for Trump. And that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. It's funny to me every time I hear Democrats talk about how maybe we can swing Texas. Maybe we can steal Texas. I'm like, you have so much work to do if you want to steal Texas. Because that is still a very, very red state. And it might even be more red now than it was 4 years ago. I don't know. The other one is Florida. So I'm going to pull up a 2020 electoral map prediction. Because Florida is 29. So I think Florida is the third biggest state. It's tied with New York. So New York and Florida are both 29. Then you have Texas at 38. California, obviously the biggest, 55. And that one always goes blue. We know that. So we're going on 270 to win. This is the website I'm going on. I think, does it have the date of when this map is from? It doesn't say. Based on polls. Yeah, let's do 2020. Here we go. 2020 map, based on polls, no toss-ups. So basically it's saying, there's no where it's like, it could go either way. They're picking it. Okay? According to this one, so this is interesting to me. This one says, whoops. Oh, you can play with it too. It's an interactive map. Isn't that fun? So basically it's saying, according to the polls, Biden's going to win 334 to Trump's 204. Now, what does this have? This has Biden winning Wisconsin, Biden winning Michigan, Biden winning Pennsylvania, Biden winning Arizona. Those are the four that it looks. Oh, and North Carolina. He swings North Carolina as well. And that's where you're getting that one. So that's what that's saying. Now, is he going to actually be able to do that? I don't know. I'm going to say, so here's what I'm going to say. I think Wisconsin is going to stay for Trump. I think Arizona is probably going to stay for Trump. And I think Florida is going to go with Trump as well. So if you flip those three right there, I'm doing my own CNN. I'm doing my Wolf Blitzer right now, people. If you do that, you get 284. You still get Biden winning. You get 284 to 254. So at that point, it's 30. There's a 30-point difference right there. Now, North Carolina is, according to this, blue. North Carolina is 15 votes. So that's where you get the tie. If you flip North Carolina to red, all of a sudden you have 269, 269, which would be hilarious, dude. Because then it goes to, I think it goes to Congress, then goes to the House of Representatives or the Senate or some shit. Again, I didn't learn any of this, okay? I didn't pay attention. They taught it to me. I didn't learn it. Maybe if they taught me about hashtags, I would know what I'm talking about right now. But I don't. I do not. So, 269, 269. This is with Trump getting Wisconsin, Trump getting Florida, Trump getting North Carolina, and Trump getting Arizona. But it does have Biden getting Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Virginia, a lot of these other states. So that's where it gets real interesting, right? Is like, which states go which way? And that's the most obvious statement of all time. But it is, I don't know, it's just interesting to me. Now, if Michigan goes red and Wisconsin goes blue, now Trump wins. Trump goes 275 to Biden's 263. And I don't know if that's what's going to happen. If Texas were to go blue, like, dude, if Texas goes blue, Trump could win Minnesota, Wisconsin, Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, not Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida. He could win all these states and still lose if Texas goes blue. That's how big a deal Texas is. Don't mess with Texas, is what I'm saying with that. But it's gonna be. I'm interested to see how it goes down. Here's gonna be my prediction. I think Minnesota's gonna go blue. I think Texas is obviously gonna go red. I think Michigan. I think Michigan will probably go blue. I think Pennsylvania though is gonna go red. And I think that's what it's going to look like. So I think it's going to be 289 Trump, 249 Biden. That's with Michigan going blue. That's with Minnesota going blue. Pennsylvania going red. Florida going red. So that's how, I don't know. That's how I think it's going to end up. Just kind of the vibe that I'm getting in different places. Michigan, again, is a very toss-up state, though. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, though, without further ado, because I do want to get this in before we wrap things up. It's this week's porn star of the podcast. It is Miss Brittany White, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, and here a little bit of bio information. So I do want to point out before I get into this, I searched far and wide to try and get information on her, to try and get a little bit of a biography. Very, very difficult. She did not have an extensive IMDb, no Wikipedia, couldn't find a website for her. So I ended up having to resort to our old friend Pornhub to get a bio. So when I read this bio, know that it's from Pornhub, and that's why it is as explicit as it is. But here we go. Born May 30th, 1997 in Orlando, Florida. Stands 5'3", 110 pounds. It is Brittany White. So let's get into her bio. Despite her family name, Brittany White is a top ebony porn star who has made a big name for herself in the biz. She started making porn when she was only 19 years old because she knew she couldn't keep her beauty all to herself. She wanted to share it with the world so that everyone could appreciate her. Brittany is well on her way to becoming the next big ebony star because she can take a good fucking like any top porn star, and she has a sexy nubile body. She's only 5'3" tall and has a nice rack with 36 double D tits. Her big boobs look like they're natural, but you'll have to be the judge of that as you watch her in a slew of porn movies here on Pornhub. According to some interviews online, Brittany is a lesbian. Again, this is the language that Pornhub is using. Brittany is a lesbo in real life, but feels like porn is a safe place to experience some cock action. You'd never believe that she's a carpet muncher from the way she takes a hetero fucking. This is hilarious. I don't know who writes for Pornhub, but very well done, sir. Okay, keep on moving. As a black girl, a lot of her scenes have been in the interracial genre with white male porn stars who pound her dark pussy with their man meat. Brittany is pretty flexible, and she can practically put her legs behind her head, as evidenced by photos of her doing just this. One of Miss White's favorite things to do is to take a nice big load of cum to her face, because it makes her feel like she's done a good job servicing whatever cock was in front of her. Check her out for yourself in any of her videos here, and you'll be glad you did. So there we go. It is Miss Brittany White, this week's porn star of the podcast. Hey, thank you so much. And I'm a big fan of hers. I did know beforehand, like I said, it was a little bit difficult to find some information on her. I had seen a couple interviews with her, and she did say that she is a lesbian. She likes girls. But it is interesting when you read this a little bit more because, a lot of her scenes are interracial. And this is the trend you kind of see in porn right now. Almost everything is interracial. If it's a white girl, she might be banging a white guy, but she's definitely going to be banging a black guy at some point. Black girls almost always are fucking white dudes in porn. Okay, you can find some pure ebony porn too. It's still out there, and they are still making new stuff. But compared to how it used to be, okay, it's a lot more. It's changed quite a bit, and I don't know if that's reflecting a change in demand. Okay, that's one of the things that capitalism does very well, is it responds to changes in demand. Okay, and I think porn is one of those industries that, despite some regulations, does listen to the demand of the consumers better than a lot of industries. There's a lot of competition in porn. You know, there's amateurs now which are able to come in and kind of compete with some of the bigger studios, your Brazzers, XYZ. And then you have a thing like Pornhub, which to me is kind of like the YouTube of porn, right? Pornhub is kind of the YouTube of porn. You know, I think anyone can upload shit. There's bigger stars, obviously. You can have a channel. There's ways to monetize it. You can send tips. Obviously, the big one right now is OnlyFans. And I'm sure that they're collecting insane amounts of data on what people are whacking it to from OnlyFans. And I think it's good. I honestly think it's good to understand what these sexual demands are of the society. I think that information, though, can go into the wrong hands, and it can be used to manipulate people one way or the other. But I do think generally it's good for us to know what we're into. Okay, this is something I talked about a lot in Texas when I was on stage. I was like, know what you're into, people. Know what you like to do. Figure it out, okay? Because people in Texas, there's some religious people in Texas, obviously, okay? And these, sometimes religious people don't necessarily like to get into some of their sexual habits. But I do think it's an important thing to do. So, it was something I talked about quite a bit on stage when I was in Texas. And it was funny, dude. The responses were funny, man, because, like, when people can tell you're joking, they can tell you're joking. And it's fun. And so actually, quick story, and I'll talk about it more on the Open Mics podcast next week with Justin. To anyone who listened this past week, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. We were trying to do it on Skype. You know, I had spent a ton of time downloading and re-editing and all this shit, and YouTube just wouldn't cooperate. Actually, my editing software wouldn't cooperate. It's not even YouTube's fault. It had nothing to do with YouTube, but it was really a bummer how it just refused to cooperate, the editing program. But long story short, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more on that podcast, but I was in Texas last night. Okay, Thursday night, I was in Garland, Texas, doing an open mic. One of George Red Speaks' open mics. It was at it's called Tavern on the Corner or something like that. It was in downtown Garland, which is beautiful, by the way. I went to a thrift shop there, bought a leather jacket. It's pretty pimpin', not going to lie. I was at this open mic. You know, we get there around 6:30. Sign-up's supposed to be at 7. We wanted to go up first so we could drive back to Oklahoma. Sign-up goes out. We sign up first. And then we start talking to one of the comics, and he's like, yeah, the show doesn't start till about 8:30. And we're like, fuck, so now we just got to sit here even longer. And the vibe of the bar was really cool. I was really looking forward to the show. And then maybe a half hour before it started, some bikers walked in from an apparently notorious Texas biking group, club, I believe is the term. A notorious Texas biking club that I do not know the name of and would not even share if I did on the podcast. Long story short, one of the comics was like, hey, whatever you do, don't fuck with the bikers. Okay, they were literally right next to the stage. There was 4 of them. He's like, don't do crowd work on them. Don't talk to them. Don't do anything. And I was like, okay, all right, cool. And apparently some of the comics even crossed their name off the list when they saw those guys walk in. They're like, you know what? I don't need to fuck with this. So I went up first, right? Very first comic, right after the host. I go up there and I start doing my jokes, yada, yada, yada. I'm talking about having a beard. One of the bikers had a beard. And two of the 4 bikers were watching. They were watching me, and they were kind of enjoying some of what I was talking about. So I talked to them a little bit, and I didn't really do crowd work. I just kind of acknowledged the fact that you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'll tell a joke, they laugh at it. I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. And they were honestly pretty cool. I'll be honest, they were cool. But I specifically made an effort not to fuck with them. Okay, I wasn't going to ignore them. I wasn't going to pretend like they weren't there. I wasn't going to cross my name off the list. I wasn't going to do any of that. I was just going to be very tactical about how I told my jokes. I did do some crowd work on other people in the bar, and I actually did piss off a guy who would look like a biker. You know, he's a bald white guy with a goatee. Looked like he could have been a biker, but he didn't have the clothes on, and he wasn't hanging out with the biker dudes. So I'm like, if he were a biker, he'd be fucking with these guys. And there were only 4 bikes outside of the bar, so I was like, okay. That guy's not a biker. I did piss him off, though, which is funny to me that, like, that guy got more pissy than the actual bikers did at what the fuck I was talking about. I was just talking about random shit. I was having a good time. But that's what it is, man. That's sometimes what it is in comedy. You know, you just got to go up there and let it rip. And I do want to give a shout out to Garland, Texas. Great little town. I think that's the town they based Arland off of, if you're a fan of King of the Hill. The show with Hank Hill used to be on Fox. Very funny. But the show takes place in a town called Arland, Texas, which does not exist. But I do believe it is based off of Garland, Texas, outside of Dallas. So just a quick little tangent there about the bikers who were at the fucking show that I did last night in Garland. And it was fun. It was crazy. It was some shit, dude. I got out of there and I was like, let's go back to Oklahoma. Let's go back to Oklahoma. So I got out of there real fucking quick and went back to Oklahoma. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much for watching this week's episode of Markus Olind Loves Porn and Capitalism. I'm going to wrap it up there. Big shout out to Brittany White. Big shout out to George Red Speaks, JD, Diego, Steady Eddie, Zach, a bunch of other people down in Texas that I got to meet. Thank you very much for the hospitality. I appreciate it. I'd love to be down in Dallas soon, trying to set up some dates. So keep an eye out for that. But make sure you check out the Open Mics podcast as well. And if you want to check out some of the other podcasts of Markus Olind Loves PC, they're on YouTube, they're on Spotify, iTunes, all those platforms. So make sure you check that out. And thank you. Bye.